Welcome back to the Real Estate Den, episode 13. Today we have two investors out of the east side of the nation, which I'm very excited to have this conversation today. We've got Zach and Joao. We'll go ahead and just get right into this. Zach, tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and what you're doing.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on today, guys. I appreciate it. I'm hoping that ultimately, some of the stuff that we discussed today can bring value to people who are presently investors, as well as people who are looking to sort of enter into the market and start, take on their first project. To provide a little bit of background about me, I'm an ex-military guy. I served in the U.S. Army for 6 years. My background is I went to school for finance. However, I took a relatively non-traditional path. I was very passionate about fitness as a whole during my younger years. I began working post grad, not in finance, but actually as a personal trainer at a luxury fitness facility. I worked there for 4 years. I then opened my own gym, which then sort of indirectly led me into real estate. And then since I got into real estate, that was sort of in the early going of 2020. I was able to scale my portfolio from a townhouse at the time. I sold my townhouse, bought my first duplex. And from that point forward, I managed to go from a duplex to about 167 or so units in about 2.5 years.
Wow. Joao, tell us a little bit about you and where you're from, and correct me, am I saying your name right?
Joao.
Joao.
Zachary, first, thank you for your service and everything you do for the country. That's always something I want to make sure we bring out. So, yeah, I'm from the Carolinas. I moved down here a few years ago, probably 6, 7 years ago, give or take, and started with a criminal justice background. Got a bachelor's degree in that. Obviously, it's not what I'm doing today. I do have a standard 9 to 5, so always wanted to find a way out of it and, not continue working that and kind of not being stuck, but being limited to what I can do, what can I achieve. And, one thing I noticed in that was if I work my hardest, I'm guaranteed, let's just say $100. If I work just enough to stay out of the radar, I'm making that same $100. It just you know, wasn't good for me to keep doing that and limiting myself to what I can make and what I can do.
Mhm.
And just seeing other people achieve things, entrepreneurs, other people that had a lot more out there. I ran into a book, which was my kind of segue into real estate called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know a lot of people know that book, and it's been a game changer for many people. So that helped me kind of, buy a duplex when I first started, fix it up myself, do the renovations, learn construction, work my way up to getting more duplexes, more single families, closing on my first commercial deal less than 2 weeks ago, getting two more under contract, and actually have a commercial GC license in both Carolinas, working on Georgia next. Going to events and honestly meeting people has been the biggest factor for me. I've always been a I can do it myself. I don't need any help kind of guy. And real estate taught me that is just not the best way to do it. Having that network, meeting people out there, whether they're private money lenders, investors, rehabbers, construction, everyone can play a pivotal role and just it's helped expand my knowledge and my footprint tremendously.
Absolutely. I love that. What do you how do you meet people? Like feel like, that's obviously the key for a lot of real estate careers, whether you're investing in real estate or even a lender, you have to meet people. How do you find the people? Are you talking to your grocery store in, or like what how are you chatting?
Zachary first, or is that me?
Either one of you tell me just
I'm
shout.
happy. Yeah, I'm happy to go first.
Yep.
So I actually, I actually have met, so presently on almost all the projects that I do at this point, I have a business partner who is partnered with me on every project that I do. That individual I actually met at a local real estate meetup. And at the time, I only had 5 units. So from 5 units up until now, he and I have partnered on every single deal together from that point forward. And what I
Wow.
will say is that in going to local real estate meetups, I've met uh, I've met two of my partners. I have met someone who is now going to be stepping in a project management role for us as we continue to scale. I have met a handful of lenders that I use. I've met my attorney that we use for all of our transactions. I've met a multitude of contractors that I've used on projects. I have met uh, down to people that work for Mass Save, which is a program that is, I'm not sure if it's specific to Massachusetts, but effectively it is a opportunity to convert, heating systems or upgrade heating systems in properties through sort of like a subsidy program that the state offers. So, there's just sort of a whole gamut of things that I've been able to benefit from going to local meetups. And at this stage, I started going to those meetups about 2 years ago. Now I actually host a meetup with the same affiliate, and my partner also hosts a meetup for the same affiliate, and his meetup is actually one of the biggest in the state.
Wow.
And it just goes to show that at this point, um, you know, kind of to what Joao said earlier, that networking as a whole is the best ROI on your time that you can possibly, partake in if your objective is to try to grow your portfolio. And I think that the reason behind that is that in order to continue to scale, you cannot do it independently by yourself, and you have to collaborate. And so being willing and able to collaborate, identify your strengths, your weaknesses, and where you need others to help pick up your weaknesses is pivotal. And I think that what better place to do that than an environment in which everybody also wants to do the same thing.
I mean, absolutely. Wow, a lot of truth there. I'm like, I could make so many t-shirts with what you were just saying. That's amazing. Like, it's true. So you've met so these local real estate meetups, how are you finding them? Are you like how did you first like connect with those meetups? Did you find them through your gym? Were you like through Facebook? And then we'll kind of go back down to Zhao to ask him about kind of how he does his meetups and stuff as well.
I would post on Bigger Pockets looking for meetups. I would look them up on Google search. Um, I reached out to my local area, which is sort of something that I believe like most states have an option. Um, and then I think the last thing is going into local Facebook community groups for investing in your immediate demographic, and then asking for people's recommendations on networking events for real estate. I think all of those things are super impactful, and I think that if you have limited success in doing those things, one of my other recommendations would be call up a whole bunch of attorneys, figure out who does the most real estate closings in the area, in your immediate area, and I can guarantee you that whoever does the most real estate closings in the area either A, knows something about a real estate meetup, or B, his clients do.
Yep.
So that's the route that I would go if you hit a roadblock.
Awesome. Yeah, I think just like that starting is gets people kind of hung up. They're like, well, where do I go meet people? Like you Google real estate meetup and you show up and you get yourself a soda and a lemon and you bullshit with people. Like that's how you
That's right.
start. Like, I don't know. Would you have anything else to add, Joe?
Yeah, so that was great, Zachary. I should have gone first. Um, so pretty much same thing. There's local meetups, things like that. I mean, I'm very introverted, so you can put me in a room with 100 people. I'll probably find a corner somewhere and sit and not really engage too much. But to echo what Zach said, you need to get out of that comfort zone. You need to be able to grow and build. And honestly, there's so many extroverts out there that are real estate around. They're gonna force their ways to talk to you, shake your hand, get your information, and kind of bring you along. So once they break that ice on my side anyway, it was, nonstop from there. I mean, I still remember to this day, one of the first guys I met, his name was Okino Smith. This guy can do a cartwheel in a room as soon as he walks in, not knowing anyone and being fine. I'm more like, let me look, there's so many people. I'm gonna wait till someone speaks and sneak my way in the back or something.
Mhm.
But he, just he knew I was not comfortable going up to a random table like he is. So he just grabbed me and said, here's how you do it. Let's go. My name's this. What are you doing? How's it going? Here's Joao. Here's what he's doing. Oh, you need this? You guys should talk and exchange numbers. And I talked to him after the first event and just said, I guarantee you, I'm coming for your spot. I'm gonna be as big as you are. And luckily he closed on a hotel less than 2 weeks ago. I got that building. So he's been an amazing person for me. Going on the Facebook groups, like Zachary said, there's local ones that want to reach out. There's people that are different levels, new, brand new, 1 unit, 5, 10, or hundreds, and they're all going there. So just even being around them and asking questions, we've all been through it, or we're gonna go through it. Finding other people that can help you expedite that, give you advice, finding mentors or masterminds has been pivotal for me as well, and just putting yourselves in the room with the people that want to be where you are or want to go where you're going, hold each other accountable. It's just been amazing being surrounded by like-minded people, individuals that truly want to see you succeed and they want to succeed with you. And I've noticed that, with my own circle, it's love my friends, love my family, different mindsets. You just need to find those people that are going to help push you. We all have those days where sometimes you want to give up. It's depending on what you do and how you handle that situation. Being in real estate, I've noticed very clearly a lot of people that do this, we don't take problems and lay down. We figure a way to solve them and go forward and come up with a solution and share that with other people.
Absolutely. I love the
I
collaboration.
did the same. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
There's the
Michelle.
same thing yesterday. I was at a network event. I was like walking around the room looking for somebody I know. And so I'm like, is there somebody I know? And I saw like we all have name tags, and I introduced myself, but I just met through email. But then she introduces me to somebody else that I don't know, and so, but it's like I'm like introverted in a way where I'm like, I just want to find like a couple people that at least I've met before, instead, because everybody seems like they know each other. Everybody else is talking to everybody else. And so
They're just
I
extrovert
can
guys.
totally relate to that.
Extroverts. They literally just met and then they connected over like the color of their pen and now they're laughing in a group. Like they're not like just
100%, you're right.
But
One of the things,
I love how you said like is an introvert just show up because an extrovert will adopt you, and like totally so true, like especially in these sort of like environments and stuff, like because an extrovert, if I'm at a networking event and I'm scanning the room, I'm looking for someone I don't know. So if I see Michelle, I'm like, great, let's look at this nice person I can go sit and be friends with. How many events do you start to go to? Like what do you like, how many do you think you're going to on a weekly or monthly basis?
at this point, when I was first starting out, I would try to go to one a month. Um, I try to go to the same one every month, and I would try to meet at least 3 to 5 new people every single time that I went. At this point, I'm at a much different stage. I have a little bit more freedom of my time. I this real estate has become sort of like a full-time thing for me. Um, it is a massive, massive part of my life. I try to attend at least 4 per month, and that is kind of the threshold that I'm able to sustain without my wife, you know, getting in my ear about not being home at night.
Yeah.
So, but what I will say is that relative to the engaging and searching for people that and this kind of thing, like I've really taken on a lot of reading, and it's not a coincidence to me that I've probably blown through like 60 to 70 books, and I've also probably had the successful, impactful years of growth, personal growth, professional growth in my life. And one of the books that I read, which is what this made me think of, is a book called Eat That Frog.
I've read that one.
Effectively, the premise of the book is you have to be willing to do shit that makes you really, really uncomfortable in order to make significant strides. and to help, to achieve success. And I think that when you go to those meetups, this is not a situation where you're gonna reap a lot of benefit from this going and kicking back and waiting for people to talk to you. I think this is an opportunity where you have to go into it making yourself vulnerable, willing to admit to things that you don't know. You have to be comfortable going into a room and saying, I probably am the least qualified person in this room, because now you have an opportunity to learn how they can help make you more successful. So it's all about how you frame it and what you're willing to take on, and how uncomfortable you're willing to make yourself, because that's what's ultimately going to yield, you know, exponential returns on these events for you in your path here.
I love that. Absolutely. We were just talking about that. My husband and I, we relocated to a new area in Colorado, and he's a licensed agent, and I manage the brokerage. So, to get into the door, we signed up for the chamber, and we were kind of talking about it. I'm like, it's interesting because you go and you're like really nervous and you like don't really know anybody. But once you start to go to these events, especially the same event, you feel it becomes like you're seeing your friends. Like it gets easier. It's always like being uncomfortable is so short lived. Like people don't want to be uncomfortable for a short amount of time, but it's only awkward for 2 or 3. And then once you meet some people, then you eventually get in. And then the second thing on that is, yeah, you have to have an additional plan. Like I'm not going to go to the marketing and agents think that, oh, I got my real estate license, everybody's going to call me and I'm going to drive a BMW. And it's not how it works. You got to go and, okay, I'm meeting these many people. I would like to connect, with schedule 2 one-on-one lunches for next week when I'm here today. Like I'm just meeting two people to connect and to collaborate with. It's the starting point, and you're absolutely right. Your level of success is exactly correlated to how uncomfortable you're willing to be in that moment. How many meetups are you hitting up every week or month, Joao?
So I'm trying to do one a month right now, and just trying to, kind of pick and choose which ones I can go to depending on what I'm doing. I mean, some of these rehabs are going to be full guts. Some of them are going to be, projects depending where they are, 2 hours away. IGC all of them, so got to be on site of most of them, and dealing with electricians, plumbers, tradesmen. Some days you're done
Right.
at, some days you're done at 8 or 9. So it depends. But it's the good thing is, like Zach was saying, you get so much out of these events that I need to make them a mandatory thing, because your network is your net worth. I mean, the people you meet, and like he was saying, legal team, insurance team, construction, they're all going there. And if they're not, they know someone that they use that is already reputable. You don't have to worry about taking the risk on some brand new person you found online, and they'll help you out. I have yet to meet a real estate investor that's going to guide you in the wrong way. Even wholesalers go there. They'll be, let them know I'm part of a group. Like one thing we do in ours is, with Nate Barger's team is there, we have group meetings, like these group chats within different states and areas. I'm part of both Carolinas, calling a wholesaler and saying, hey, I'm part of a group of 50 investors. What can we do to get you to give it to us first and let us look through it? We'll get it sold. And just being that key person that can help bridge the gap together and help find solutions overall. Until you go there and get it done. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, you met me 3 years ago. I'm not going in a brand new room. I didn't meet anyone. It's just not my thing. But now like Zach said, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to get in there and force yourself to do things you don't do every day. That's the only way we're going to change and evolve and grow. By doing those things we're not doing. We can't wake up every day doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It's not going to happen. We need to take that first step. And there's so many people, genuine people, that want you to succeed and will help you out.
I love that. I love all of this. I want to talk a little bit because you both have mentioned something that I'm also obsessed with, and that's reading, and how books have changed like your trajectories, and like how Zach, you've read probably 60, 70 books. What are your like top, each of you tell me your top 3 favorite books. If you were going to if you could only read 3 and you could only recommend 3 to like your past self, like what are the 3 game-changing books for you?
3 most impactful books for me. My number 1 would be Go Giver.
Yep. I love that one.
I picked that book because I read that book at a pretty impactful time, in which growing and uh, success to me were always tied to preservation of resources, operating from a scarcity mindset, operating from a frugal, cost cutting, calculated approach. And when I read that book, it was sort of at the time an inflection point in which I needed to start building my team and building my network that was going to help assist me to scale further because I couldn't do it on my own moving forward. And that book is what shaped my mental framework on how to scale my operation in a way that was sustainable, and also how to incentivize other people to want to move in the same direction as I did so that you're collaboratively working together. That would be my number one. Number two, I would probably pick a book called Limitless.
Quick.
I think I think that's a pretty impactful um book that just shapes the way that you think about yourself, the way that you approach problems, the way that you um, value yourself, make decisions, that kind of thing. I found that one to be pretty impactful. If I was to pick a third, it's probably a tie for me between, I would say, a tie between How to Win Friends and Influence People, because I think interpersonal is super important. But I think that the last one that I would pick that I think might edge it out for me is the One Thing, which is, and the reason I picked the One Thing is because in my phone at all times, in the notes section of my phone, I every time that I think about something that I need to do or that I need to take action on or that or that is bringing me anxiety, I write it down. And so I have an ongoing, never-ending laundry list of things that I need to be able to tackle. And what I'll do is that laundry list of things that grows, effectively what I do is I take it and I then siphon it off to the people in my group that can accomplish those things. So I'll say these three things can be done by this person. These three things can be done by that person. And then when I get down to the list of things that remain that I have to tackle myself, then I systematically go through them one at a time. And what this corresponds to is it corresponds to me never reaching a threshold of being anxious about all the things that I have to accomplish. It results in me never forgetting things that pop into my mind that I have to attack. And it results for me being able to systematically go through the list and determine who is going to be doing what.
Delegate, yeah.
And and then I think that this is something as soon as I go from having to do work to having free time, I can now immediately hop into that list and then attack. And that to me is so pivotal. So I think that is sort of a takeaway for me from that book.
Great. I love all of that. And I'm a huge proponent about the list too, because if you have a list down, you don't have to have it, it's not banging around your brain and you can be present and kind of do it. But yeah, write it down. I've got old school notes, I got phone notes, I got like 15 billion whiteboards around me. Like I like notes. I get you there. What 3 books changed your life and your trajectory that you would really recommend?
So the first one is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I read that at least every year just to make sure I'm still in the right mindset and see if I missed something or touch about something that I could have did better that year. That was a book that changed everything for me as far as what can be done if you really put your mind down to it. I would say the Bird Method is one, just buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. That's great for newcomers just to realize you can buy something distressed, fix it up, bring force appreciation, rent it out, get your money back, plus then some, and you
Mhm.
still own a property to keep going. And it's a good way to start for a lot of people. So just refreshing those basic tools you have. Um, and the one I read most recently that actually helped me, like maybe a month ago, two of my business partners, Cole and Nate, recommended was Who Not How. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
amazing for me because I'm used to, I can learn how to do that. I can do this. And like social media was, it's everywhere but it was always a clear weakness for me. Can I make a post? Sure, I can, but it's not going to be as good as someone whose expertise is making a post. I need to find the right person that fits in that spot that can take it from me and excel at it tremendously. That gives me the time to focus on where I excel. So why would I, use an hour of my day, or let's say 5 hours of my day, when she can knock it out in 30 minutes? I was able and lucky to find, one of my team members, Kyra, who has taken my whole social media and completely turned it around. She's helping me with inventory and accounting. We're looking to bring someone else on board later to do, time management and project management, things like that. So again, these can be done in house, but my time is better spent elsewhere. So finding that right person and getting in that mindset of, yeah, you can do it, but why would you want to? Get someone else that is great at it, can excel at it, thinks outside the box, and you focus on where you are great at and what you can do, and build your team of these experts or subject matter experts and scale up faster and just have an overall amazing team.
I love that. Absolutely. I love the collaboration versus the competitive. We at my brokerage is reading right now. We're reading The Science of Getting Rich together. And it's the same, those similar concepts, right? Like there's more than enough, this abundant sort of thing. And I think it's tough, especially in this industry. And I'm sure it's the same on the investor side as the real estate side, that competition seems to be the default for most people where they need to go. And I don't want to get this taken from me. And it's so great to have this conversation with both of you that have had these mindset shifts that are like, no, like the team is the key there. I cannot do this on my own, because I think you just get so much more successful after you come to that conclusion. Like, there's no way I can do this on my own, and I need to have people. I need to lean on them. I need to expand, and that doesn't even necessarily mean that, like, oh, what if someone screws you over? You're gonna get screwed over. We are in real estate, people. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but like, that's part of the thing. But being able to go out there and really collaborate with others is just a huge thing. So I'm so glad that we were able to have this conversation today, because I think that's huge. And I love that both of you have like picked it out, and even with your books are totally different. Yeah, I will have to put these in the show notes, so hopefully this will be the episode that gets everybody reading for the year.
As far as being screwed over, I wouldn't say don't be afraid if it's gonna happen. Just do your due diligence, talk to the people, and get prepared for when it happens. So always just have your backup plans and due diligence and whatnot. It's gonna happen regardless of who you are, what level you're at. Just do as much research and work as you can do to avoid it and prepare for what your exit plans or backup plans should be.
Absolutely. I tell my agents, it's not if you get sued, it's when, and it's when we'll go to court together, and that's okay. And that's why I'm your broker. I'm here for you because I know you do good work, and I'm here to make sure you're competent. But like, it's just the nature of the beast. And at the end of the day, we're in America. Like, they're not gonna chop our hands off or something. Like, like the, we're fine. So, great. I wanted to ask my last question, and one of my favorite ones is always, what does your morning routine look like? So we'll start with
All
Zach.
right. My morning routine is very atypical for sure. So I wake up every single day at 4:15. I habitually sit in bed for about 20 minutes, answering any text messages or emails outstanding that I have. I then go look at my to-do list and determine anything that I can attend to right this minute to get off my list. Quick text message, quick email, follow up with somebody. I get all those things done. I then wake up. I make myself breakfast and coffee, and I take my breakfast and coffee to go, and I'm in my car by 5 a.m. to go to my gym, where I normally am working from 5:30 to about 11:30. And then at 11:30, it's real estate time.
Nice. Okay. So you're working at the gym. Do you work out at the gym, or you're just working the gym?
No, I train clientele. So I have
Oh.
basically, for me, I can go, I work 4 days a week in the gym, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. and I can train from 5:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and it allows for me to make, um, a six-figure salary, and then effectively by noontime, I'm free to be able to do whatever I want. And I still get Tuesdays completely off, and then Saturday, Sundays completely off. So I get 3 days a week to be able to fully vest into real estate. And then from 12 p.m. on every single day, I can also, commit my time to real estate. So it's great to be able to have the ability to earn a sustainable living while still having the flexibility to devote myself to what I'm passionate about.
Absolutely. And we know it, right? Real estate ebbs and flows for sure. So how great. And it's still sort of you're still entrepreneurial, like you've got the multiple streams going. So
Yeah.
that's great. Sounds like a good morning. I like to wake up around, I like that 4 a.m. too. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
How about you, Joao?
Again, I should have gone first. I mean, I wish I could wake up that early, but it's just not in the cards right now for me. Um, we all know this. Our minds are constantly moving, constantly going. I could be watching TV and just thinking about what I forgot in a project or what needs to be done here.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I had to go to bed so shortly after midnight just because we're breaking ground on some other properties and got to make someone's going to call out. Something's going to happen, and I'm working on getting that situated. But my usual routine is 6 a.m. Did construction for a few years, so my back is not the greatest. So I need to do my stretches first. So kind of like a little bit of yoga for a little bit, stretch out my body. Then I take a 10-15 minutes to do some meditation, some river rock sounds on Amazon, which is free.
Nice.
Um, and then from there, just try to do a workout, whether it be cardio one day, every other day, either cardio or a body part working out to try and stay in shape. Shower, and I don't eat till around 11 a.m. just for intermittent fasting. And it's depending on the day. Some days I don't eat till 5 or 6. I mean, when you're moving, and I forget to eat. But trying to get on a better schedule as far as that goes. Another book is the 5 a.m. Club that I read. So I want to make sure I start getting that done and committing to it. It's just holding myself accountable, and my business partners actually will hold me accountable to if we don't do something. We've got to post a video online doing 50 push-ups, something we don't want to do as introverts, but either you do it or here's the price you're going to pay, and you know make it a fun way to do it too.
Think it's people tend to be early or late night people. So I think anybody can become a night person if they want to, but I definitely think that there's like certain individuals who are more predispositioned. I'd rather stay up till 2 a.m. working on this versus I'd rather wake up at 2 a.m. and work on this. And I'm a wake up at 2er, but I used to be a stay up till 2er. So like I've kind of been on both sides of that. What projects or fun things do you guys have coming up for this year that you want the listeners to know about? And then where can we find you?
Um, we got 6 deals under contract in January. Yeah, we have a 9 unit that has 4 gut units that we're going to be renovating, that also has a subdivision of extra land that we're going to parcel off.
Cool.
We have a 3-family that has 2 gut units that we're replacing and fully building out. And then most of the other stuff is just buy and hold, value add. And then in regards to kind of what we just have in regards to this year, our hope is that we want to acquire 120 units over the course of the year. We're in a good position right now, which is also an opportunity for me to plug an opportunity for anybody who's listening who wants to build equity in real estate but doesn't have access to capital. For us, we have a great operating team. We have access to a significant amount of money, people that want to invest with us. We're very fortunate to be in that position, given our track record. And we're always looking for deals. We're always buying. So what we do is we actually offer anybody who brings us a deal. If we end up buying the deal, we actually give them 10% equity stake in the deal. So,
Wow.
and they have to do nothing other than just bring the deal, and they don't have to bring any capital. They don't have to operate. They don't have to do anything else. So anybody who's a listener who is looking to get involved but doesn't have the financial means, feel free to connect with me personally, and you can connect with me on Instagram. My Instagram is at the 1099 mindset.
At the 1099 mindset. I like that. We'll have all this info in the show notes as well. Great. What's new and exciting for you, Joao? And how is your 20, and where can we find you and stay connected?
So 2024 is going to be an awesome year. I mean, I created a vision board, which, to kind of what Zach said earlier, having that consistent reminder has been a big game changer for me. So I created one in November to get 2 houses, 2 commercials for this year. We've already hit that goal already, so we've got to amplify that a lot. We've got 4 commercial deals in the pipeline right now we're underwriting and looking into in North Carolina and South Carolina. We've got a lot more broker relationships coming up. So our goal is to grow, but not just, ourselves, but as a group and a community. So to kind of echo what Zach said, and I'll be reaching out to you, Zach, as well, if I find 10% sounds amazing. So
Yeah.
just helping others grow and learn. I mean, it's a scary thing when real estate, whether you have money, you don't, it's scary until you dive your feet in. We're always looking for partners, whether it be LP or GP on these deals to sit with us. Some people don't like the 3 T's, tenants, trash, and toilets. So kind of what Zach said, let us deal with it on our side. We've already gone through, we've got project managers, property managers, everyone on the field. And we have webinars going on for potential deals, show you what the returns can be. You can talk to previous investors, see how their interactions with us have been. You can see before and after photos, what we're doing to vertically integrate the system and make sure everyone wins. And honestly, just be a fly in the wall. Write things down, ask questions, learn, grow. That's the only way you're going to do it. And we can't just grow on our own. We need to do it as a team. So I'm always available to answer questions. And if I don't have the answer, I'm going to find it out one way or another. I'm going to call who I can, text who I can, get you that answer because I want to know as well. And as far as, all my social media tags, I'll make sure to I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll make sure to give it to you so it's in notes or somewhere there later on.
Now, you were saying that you invest in South Carolina. We actually have a boots on ground operator in Charlotte, and we own a 32 unit in Lancaster, South Carolina. So we're already down in your neck of the woods, and we're looking to scale in that market. If you know anything about Lancaster, Rock Hill, that kind of area, we're about it, and feel free. Also, we're always looking for good contractors. So might be a little bit of synergy there, depending on, I'm not 100% sure where you're located, but plenty of opportunity. And I didn't mention that for us, we're open to anything that's Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, or Connecticut.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.